My out-of-the-body experience happened as a result of the above reason. It took place exactly 3 years ago while on business trip to Berlin in Germany. On that fateful night I was visiting a friend I knew back home. He was then residing in Germany. While sleeping on his bed in the middle of the night precisely by 2:30 a.m., I suddenly woke up for no reason and attempted to stand out from the bed. To my surprise, I discovered that I was double. One of me was lying down sleeping on the bed, while one of me was standing right in the room being fully aware of myself and looking down on myself still sleeping on the bed wearing the same shirt. I was confused. I moved around the room trying to understand what was happening. I tried to touch the closet without success. Everything in the room seemed invisible to my touch, while still trying to understand it. I heard a voice speaking softly from behind me to return quickly to my body before it is too late to do that. The voice was more concerned with the time at that moment. The voice was more specific about me not making it to return back to my body after a certain number of hours is up. The voice said I would die if the hours comes without me returning to the body on the bed. Well, I was the more confused because neither did I see who is speaking or understanding what he mean at that moment. Rather there was a more pulling force in me that wanted me to explore the new environment around me, which was peaceful though strange. There was no daytime light, no darkness, but very visible. While standing in that room in confusion, suddenly my village appeared in the distance from where I was standing. Immediately my mind focused on that village. Next thing, I was standing right outside the gate of a particular family in my kindred. The soft voice behind me continued with his warning for me to return to my body, that the time is fast approaching when I could not re-enter again and I would be a dead man. Well, the more warning the more the other force I can't explain is pulling me toward another venture. At all this stage I clearly understand that I am out of my body because I feel the same way as I feel now writing all this down. But the peculiar thing is that while standing in my village I can still see my body sleeping in my friend's room far away in Germany. While trying to put all these things together, my eyes were opened more to my immediate environment. I started seeing all the dead elderly people of my kindred. They were all happy in their various compounds, some cooking while some are doing other domestic works. From the spot I was standing, I could see every compound and all the past dead elderly people of our kindred, but none noticed me, though I was happy to see all those dead and nice elderly people of the past. It reminds me of the good old days of my life as a little boy in our little village, but I couldn't talk to them because there was something separating us. At this stage, I was suddenly standing in front of my grandfather's compound. He was dead a long time ago, but the first son, who is my uncle, had inherited the property with his family in there. As I stand, I suddenly saw my cousin, who was my friend and very close to me. I was wondering what he was doing in the village at that time because I knew him to be in another state at the time. While still thinking about it, 2 of my uncle's wives appeared, making them 3 with my cousin brother. They asked me where I have been for a long time. They said my mother was looking for me. At this moment, I heard the soft speaking voice asking me not to go closer to them. My mother suddenly appeared among them and started crying. Because of my great love for my mother, I started going closer to her. She hugged me and said she has searched for me everywhere. She said, "Where have I gone to?" She said I should come into the house. I refused and instead I withdrew from her and pointed in the distance, telling her to see my body sleeping in the room in Germany. I told her I will die if I don't return to that body before a certain time. She said she knew, but I must first enter the house before going back. At this moment I started saying to her, "No, I will die, my time is up." Then suddenly a whirlwind carried me from my feet and threw me back into the room in Germany. I started walking around in the room trying to touch my friend as he was sleeping. Nothing was visible to my hand. I stood there confused on what to do. Then the soft voice came again and asked me to approach my body on the bed. He said I should stretch my hand and jump into the body. Though my body was lying down in an upward position, I jumped into it stretching like a diver. Suddenly I was back to the real world, immediately waking and looking at the time. It was 2:30 a.m. I had pains of the heart for 3 days for re-entering the body. I called my mother that morning and told her what happened. We all believed I was almost gone if not for the mercy of my Creator. With much of my experience, which I can't explain in physical or scientific form, I know life's mystery.